Hello my friends, AmyR here with Prairie paper and ink with some fun stenciling and glitter paste and all the fun things. So Simon Says Stamp came out with the Dimensional Stars stencil set. Now the embossing folder actually came out in a previous monthly kit, I think. Was it the April kit? I think it was the April kit. The one with all the birthday stuff. Anyway, with their latest Happy and Joyful release, they've got the 3D embossing folder as part of the release, and then they have these coordinating stencils. So I'm not using the embossing folder, but stay tuned. I have a video coming, hopefully right after this one, using the embossing folder. But this time I just wanted to use the stencils and the whole set of rainbow Glitz glitter gels from Simon. I had done a previous video using these glitter gels on black cardstock and just love how they look. And I realized with these stencils, I was like, ooh, I could do this with all the rainbow colors and it wouldn't be too difficult. Because if it's too involved or, you know, I'm not going to do it. So I just trimmed down a sheet of black cardstock into 4 A2 size panels, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm working on my little waffle flower mini stencil media mat because it's perfect to just butt everything up into the corner there. These stencils are also A2 size basically, so everything just works. And my media mat is stuck to my, like it's clinging, it's not stuck, but it's clinging to my Tonic mat. I'll have links to everything. It's just the most convenient way to use all this stuff. So I'm starting off with just one of the 3 stencils, and I'm using 2 of the Glitz glitter gels. I started with cherry and sherbet, so red and orange, and just applying the Glitz glitter gel over different areas of the stars with my palette knife. And then I, like every time I use glitter paste, things like that, highly recommend having press and seal. I linked that as well because Simon does carry it, because I know a lot of international people really struggle to get their hands on it. But press and seal, it preserves your pastes and your gels. Just, if you can't get your hands on it, plastic wrap should work, you know, cling wrap. It just gives that extra barrier to keep them from drying out. So I let those first set dry, which didn't take very long, roughly maybe 20 minutes. I'm not sure. It doesn't take very long. And then while those were drying, I had washed off the first stencil and my palette knife. Now I'm using the second stencil, going over the same panels, but since these stencils are meant to go together, they, you know, stagger where the stars are. And this time I'm using Citrine and Perfection Glitz glitter gels. So now I've got red, orange, yellow, and green so far. And doing the exact same thing. Just applying the colors in kind of random areas, so they're not all, you know, right up next to each other. So then I'll have this variety of rainbow stars. And every time it looks like a hot mess when you're applying it over the stencil, and then every time you remove the stencil, it's like, oh, this is pretty. So I just kept going along and doing this with all those colors. I set those panels aside, let them dry. Again, roughly 20 minutes. Not bad. And then I'd washed off stencil 2, my palette knife. Now I'm on the final stencil, and I'm using the Amethyst and the Surf Glitz glitter gels, and just doing the same thing. Applying the Glitz glitter gels sort of randomly over this. Any of the glitter gel that I get on the stencil media mat, I let it dry, and then it just peels off because it's silicone, so it's perfect. It's way easier to clean up after it's dry. Then trust me, don't try wiping off glitter gels off this media mat when they're still wet. You're just gonna have like just a mess. Let it dry. It's satisfying to peel up. But anyway, but don't do that with your stencils. Stencils you need to wash immediately because glitter gel adheres to those like cement. So, set all those panels aside to dry, clean my stencils, everything's good. While everything was drying, I did all my die cutting, you know, making use of my time. So I die cut a variety of cardstocks with the Paper Hugs wafer die, and I did 3 layers of each because I want to stack them together because I like my sentiments to have that bit of dimension. It also helps a lot because I am going to add an aqua shimmer pen on top of these when they're done. And when you stack cardstock like this and it's adhered together, it gives it that extra strength so that if you're adding something liquid like a aqua shimmer pen, etc., the cardstock isn't going to curl. If it was just the one layer, there's a good chance it'll curl from the moisture. So there's reasons for, you know, there's methods to the madness. So anyway, after my panels had dried with all that Glitz glitter gel and their just fabulous rainbow awesomeness on these black backgrounds, I trimmed all these down with my guillotine trimmer to smaller than my card front. So I ended up trimming down to about 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then for the sentiment for the inside of the cards, I pulled out the XL stacked greetings set and one of the sentiments, and I wanted them to be in all the colors, but I ain't gonna sit there and fiddle and mask and do all the things. So I've shown this in other videos, and I was pretty sure it would work with these inks too, because I've done this with, I think, just oxide inks. So I have a rainbow of matching Simon inks, the positively saturated inks, and my non-stick craft mat. And like tradition, like what I always do, I start with the yellow. It's just easiest, plus yellow is the lightest color. Don't want to get that all contaminated with all the colors. But I'm holding my ink pads on an angle, and I'm just mushing them onto my non-stick craft sheet. So I've got citrine, mandarin, cherry, perfection, taffy, and ocean inks. I'll have links as always. So I smush them all like on the sides like that. So I've got this rainbow of inks, rolled my brayer through it, which was also satisfying because the way it like pressed the inks flat and you got that like gorgeous rainbow effect. I was like, oh, this is pretty. And then I rolled my brayer over my stamp. And then I'm just going to repeat the process to make sure the stamp is, you know, evenly covered. Stamped again. This is why I have it in my Misty. Thank goodness. And yeah, I've got this fun rainbow sentiment. This just made me happy. This was fun. So I repeated the process over and over again. I didn't re-ink anything. I just keep rolling the brayer through those inks. It does start to muddy. It does start to get a little bit like fade almost because you're using up the ink. So 4 was about the max I could get out of this, which is pretty decent, I think. But yeah, if you were doing like a massive amount, you would probably have to clean it up and just re-smush the ink pads every 4 or 5 or so, because it does just start to, you know, the colors just start to meld together, and then it's just, you don't get as much of that beautiful rainbow definition. So did all that. I adhered those panels to the insides of my card bases, which is also black cardstock. That's why I did the white panels, because it gives me something to write on. And then to adhere the card fronts, I use some Studio Caudia black foam tape. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me personally if I use white foam tape, but I happen to have rolls of black foam tape, so why not use it? So I adhered those panels with that to give it that bit of dimension. And then the sentiments I adhered with craft tacky glue as well. And since they're being adhered on top of something with glitter paste, I like, again, I would use craft tacky glue anyway because it's strong, but I adhere it and then I put acrylic blocks on top to just press it down while it dries so that it actually fully adheres to everything. And then while the previous ones were drying, I painted the top layer of these die cuts with my clear glitter gloss aqua shimmer pen. And I will show at the end the sparkle because it looks like nothing on camera. Photos don't do it justice, ever, but it's so sparkly and pretty in real life. You could leave the sentiments, but of course we wouldn't want sparkly sentiments along with like the stars and everything. I just wanted it to like play together. So once those dried, I just paired these with similar envelopes from my stash, and that finished off these cards. So they're just fun. I've got the sparkly sentiments, the rainbow of Glitz glitter gel stars that, like, again, these gels show up so gorgeous on black cardstock. It just makes me happy. So yeah, stay tuned. I've got a whole bunch of videos coming back to back. I've been having tech issues on top of everything else that's gone wrong this month. So I'll have a bunch of videos coming. So just stay tuned for all of that. And as always, I will have a link below this video to my blog post. I will have a supply list. I'll link to all the supplies I used, so you can check that out below if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping and commenting. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye!